Good morning. Look at these absolutely stunning pea flowers. Aren't they beautiful? Gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Yes, you are. Okay, but let's get serious here, okay? Because this is a serious prepping channel with serious information, okay? Get serious. Because when S hits the fan, you're gonna wanna get out of the city, okay? You're gonna wanna get out of the city because you can't live there, you can't survive there. You gotta get out of the city. Whoa. Hi everyone, Morgan here. I'm trying not to be too loud to not scare my neighbors. I am sure you've heard preppers talk all the time about how you gotta get out of the city because of this situation or that situation, that living in the city is going to get you killed, whatever. I gotta wonder if these preppers have ever thought that all these people making a mass exodus from the city, where do you think they're gonna go? Reality is, if you do live in the city, you better be prepared because of the dense population. It can have cause for, some extreme situations that might get a little bit hairy for you. But if you're prepared and you're ready and you know what to do, then bada boom, bada bing, baby. Here's a prime example of urban preparedness skills, okay? I have this little tiny garden, okay? My backyard is not huge. It's a little tiny garden. I got some peas, I got some beautiful watermelon over there. I got some corn, which isn't doing fantastic. But anyway, it's almost the end of the fall season anyway, but I got some things going in here and they are producing, okay? You look at this. You don't have major space like that? Get some pots like this and start putting some food in it. What's that you say? You don't have a lot of outdoor space? Why don't you get some countertop hydroponic systems? Do you have some additional wall space? How about getting one of these hydroponic systems that go right up against a wall and you could grow a lot in here. Oh yeah, and don't forget to stock up on food and water just as usual, right? This is a shelving system in which you could pack this thing full with food. You could easily fit like 30 days worth of food on this shelf for even a family of 4, okay? I've done it. I have shelves like this. I have food everywhere, under your bed, whatever, okay? A prepping closet like this and stuff it full of food and generators and supplies and whatever. Shelves, my friends, shelves. Rainwater. This is something that all urban preppers with just a tiny bit of space in their backyard can do. It's got some water in there. Yeah, I'm going to be using that. Anyway, my point is, you can have whatever you need in an urban environment as long as you are prepared. Being in an urban environment means that you absolutely need to be prepared way more. And it's not just this food and water that you need to be prepared for. Cities run on power. So even though you have all of that stockpiled food and you're growing food and all this stuff, what are you going to do about your CPAP or your refrigerator or your freezer or anything else you may want to keep powered during a blackout? In walks the Dabson solar generator. And yeah, I'm going to call it a generator. Okay, deal with it. This is a battery backup generator. So this is actually about 2,400 watts worth of energy in this just little package. It is a little heavy. I'm not gonna lie. You may want to put this on like a little cart with wheels. I'll show you here a picture that I have. But you want to know what makes this extra special? It has ports on the side in which you can add more batteries, more batteries, more batteries. This is the plug to my fridge. It's coming from my fridge. I just turned my fridge off. I'm going to show you. Okay, normally I'd be able to press this and you'd be hearing sounds. Nothing. Okay. The ports are on the side here. Come on, there you go. And you have to press this little button to turn the AC power on and off. So it is on, it's plugged in, see, but it says that, see, now it's on. But the thing is, it's not going through a cooling cycle right now, so it's not pulling any energy. So it hasn't stopped yet, but I will say that it says even if it's pulling this 112 watts, it'll last for 10 hours. At this, if it pulls this 110, 111 watts, whatever, consistently, it's going to last 10 hours and 2 minutes. So that's amazing. The main thing we have to understand about battery backups and charging electronics is that things go through a charging cycle. So like the fridge, your freezer, these kinds of things, they will go through a cycle. They will turn on maybe every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on how energy efficient your fridge and freezer are, and or how how long it's been off, so that it needs to cool back down, right? So there's lots of various factors here, but look at this real quick. I want to get a nice close-up of this. So it actually has this little light in front, which is pretty neat. Ooh, it gets nice and bright there. And it was using like 1 watt. It's got a lot of USB-C, which is super nice, and USB. Like I was showing you before, here are the extra battery ports. Absolutely amazing. It also has the solar inputs here, the AC charge speed, overload protection, and then the AC charge right here. And on this other side is where these other plugs are. And then this is just the parallel port there. And this is kind of like if you have a fridge that has like the big hookups like that, this is 30 amps max right there. I'm going to put a link down below to where you can go check it out for yourself. But I also want to continue talking about how you can continue to survive even if your city is shutting down and people are going crazy. I would say urban preppers have an amazing advantage when it comes to preparedness, and that's the community. Because of the population density in urban areas, it's actually really, really easy for people to form communities, because afraid people may do desperate things, but afraid people also follow people who have a plan, and they also come together to say, hey, let's protect each other and let's do this, right? Like, preppers are so afraid of community, but all it takes is a little hello to your neighbor to start forming that bond. You don't ever have to say that you're a prepper. You don't ever have to say, hey, I'm stockpiled with all this stuff and, I'm going to save you. No, all you have to say is hello and get to know your neighbors. When we were trick-or-treating the other night, we met so many of our neighbors and we just said hello. Like, we didn't say anything else. One of them, we went trick-or-treating the whole night with through, It was a really good way to get to know our community just a little bit better. So, from there, we actually formed a bond and we talk and hang out. So it's pretty cool. In your urban area, you can know your alternative routes. You can know, the local farms. You can know your neighbors that have chickens. These kinds of things like community. That's what urban prepping is all about. It doesn't matter whether you live in an apartment or in a home or you're renting or you own. Urban preppers have an advantage regardless of what anybody thinks. Yes, rural preppers have a different advantage than urban preppers, but simply telling people to leave their homes just because things are getting hard is not always the best option. If there's a wildfire or hurricane that is physically pushing you from your home, then absolutely leave your home. Be safe. By staying informed with radios, AM, FM, no weather radio, whatever the situation may be, and make sure that you have your emergency disaster plans ready to go as well, because bugging in, of course, is the best course of action, but we also want to know what we're going to do in case we need to bug out. And I actually have a full PDF guide that will take you step by step, say, hey, if I had to leave, where the heck would I go? Well, that guide is going to tell you and guide you through how to figure this stuff out with your family. So go download that guide right now, link in the description. And then, of course, the last thing is safety and security. YouTube is not going to let me show what I want to show, but think about home defense. Harden your home with locks and extra alarms, little door alarms like this. You don't have to get a whole like security alarm system or anything, but just little alarms like this for your windows and doors can make your home a little bit of a hard target. Motion lights, they actually do work to deter people. We're not talking about keeping people completely away, but we're talking about making our home a hard target. We're also talking about making you a hard target, which means being situationally aware and having self-defense on hand at all times, on your person or at least within reach. Okay, your self-defense could be a variety of things, but that is something you're probably going to have to go to another channel for, because I just don't talk a lot about that and I don't want YouTube to ban me. So here's your actionable urban prep steps. 1, water access plan. Store water as well as have ways to collect water and purify it. But it never hurts to have power alternatives like this battery bank. And of course, candles and flashlights and lanterns and headlamps and extra batteries. And we also have our rechargeable batteries because we do have those battery backups that will make it easy for us to charge these and use these in our devices. We talked about water, we talked about our power alternatives and food independence, which we talked about earlier, as well as communication plans, getting to know your neighbors, and then your safety layering of protecting your home, protecting yourself, and getting to know the community so that you have an even greater safety net and allies around you. If you can build resilience in the city, then you can build resilience anywhere, and you're going to outlast any panic. Prepping is not always about running away. It's not always about like just because you live in the city, you're doomed, doomed, doomed. It's about standing strong exactly where you are, right here, right now, and being prepared for right where you are. Homestead and prep exactly where you are. Yeah, sure. Do I want a bunker and like 20 million acres of land one day? Sure, 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 sure. But I'm also going to prep for exactly where I am right now because I don't have that in the future. Who knows if we ever going to have it, right, in this economy. So stand strong where you are, build resilience, build those preps, and build those systems. Download my checklists and guides at my website and let me know down below how you are preparing in your urban areas to help other urban preppers. Thank you all so much for watching Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing Today, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.